And are we live? I am not sure. But I see people already joining. I see 29, 32 people joining. Okay, we're getting good views. Okay, everyone is, not everyone is here. We're going to wait a little bit, but hello, welcome everyone. My name is Maria. I'm going to be your host today. And while we're waiting for everybody to join, I am happy to introduce Fernando8236, who is excited to start and actually ask the traditional question that we usually start with at the beginning of each webinar. Please go in the comments and write where you're watching us from. We're very excited to know where you are. You can share about the weather, you can share your name. We will be very happy to get to know you better. Okay, we see people joining from Portugal. We see people joining from Georgia. Please go ahead and share where you're watching us from. I am currently in Porto, Portugal as well. That is why we have so many people joining from that location. And I really hope that our sunny mood is going to spread to everyone sitting over here and watching us. I really hope that we're going to have a positive and engaging conversation, especially that we have such a wonderful topic. And yeah, I really hope that you are going to enjoy this as much as we do, because we had a little pre-conversation half an hour before the webinar, and we practically couldn't wait to start because we've already had so much to say, and I really hope that you're going to join the conversation. Okay, we're welcoming more people from Ireland, Brazil, Portugal again, Bulgaria, and Turkey. Welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining. And I guess in a minute we will be ready to start. Yeah, practically I am happy to see a lot of familiar places because dxExperts as a company has offices all over the world, in the US, in Europe. For example, you see a lot of people from Georgia, from Portugal, from Turkey. Those are practically our hubs, our R&D centers, and the centers of our development of our wonderful products. And most engineers are located in there. So we're really glad that the word spreads in the right places. All right, I guess we are ready to start. Thank you very much again, and let's begin officially. Hello, everyone. My name is Maria, and I will be your host for today. And welcome to dxTechTalk. This is a series of free tech meetups organized by dxExperts and an international fintech company specializing in financial software solutions for global capital markets industry. We have been founded, oh my God, 24 years ago in 2022. I just counted it. dxExperts has R&D centers across the world, as I said, including the US, Portugal, Lithuania, Germany, Ireland, Georgia, Bulgaria, and Turkey. Who knows where we go next? Let's let's guess. Maybe during another webinar, we're going to create a poll. Where should we go next? dxExperts created dxTechTalk to stay connected with the tech community, share the knowledge and open conversations around real challenges, technologies, and experiences in our field. So if you'd like to stay up with, if you'd like to stay up to date with our future events, please follow us on Meetup, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn. We're posting all the announcements about the dxTechTalk in advance, and we have a lot of different topics to discuss. Today we're going to talk about QA, one of our most popular topics. We also talk about the front end and back end development, about leadership in general, about management, about design as well. So if you're interested in any of those topics, please follow us on social media, and of course, follow your email inbox, because we're sending updates to everyone who has ever been to our meetups, and we will be glad to see you again. So today we're trying something different. It is not going to be a DX Tech Talk as in the classic mode. Usually how it happens, we're having two different speakers who present their technical topic, and after that we ask questions. Today, for the very first time, we're trying the panel conversation. So there will be no presentations. Sorry for those who expected that, but there will be people who know what they're doing. And I am proud to say that these professionals are wonderful, wonderful professional specialists who know their stuff. They are great speakers. And I can't say that this is the most important, but important as well. They're all women. And since we're celebrating the International Women's Day, I am especially proud to introduce our speakers who are going to touch upon different topics today. Of course, we're going to start with QA, which is something they're specialized in. And after that, we're going to touch upon the leadership and what it feels like to be a woman in the male-dominated industry, which is IT. Actually, without further ado, I think I can start introducing them. They're going to introduce themselves, and I would like to pass the word to our first speaker today, the first panelist, and it is Laura Flach. Laura.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation in the first place, right? My name is Laura, and today I work as a QA team manager, but I started as an intern. I have more than 15 years of experience only working pretty much in QA. So I can say I know a bit about this area. I really enjoy. I think it's a really special, part of IT, and one of the most important ones in my humble opinion. I am from Brazil. Now I live in Portugal, and I work at DevExperts. Yeah, so I think that's enough for now. But you know more about me during the call. Yeah, thank you.
Mm. Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. So glad to have you on board, and I am already excited about everything that you're going to say today. And there is one more person that is not for the first time at DX Tech Talk, and I am personally proud to have such an acquaintance with such a bright personality and a very kind and enthusiastic person. Nita, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for the introduction. And thank you for having me here. I am Neeta, and I'm working as a senior accessibility QA engineer in DevExpert since 2.5 years. I have total 12 year of experience in accessibility field. And yeah, I'm from India, and I come to Portugal around 3 years ago. And I live with my husband and 6-year-old son, and we are right now exploring each and every corner of Portugal, and we are kind of enjoying everything. And that's about me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for sharing this. Exploring Portugal from such a from such a side is a pleasure, so I can relate to that immensely. And the next person is joining us from sunny Georgia, and she is one of those people who has actual teaching experience, and I am very proud to introduce Ina Komashvili.
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here again, like I was here last month as well. So my name is Ina Komashvili, and I'm from Georgia. I didn't relocate to any place. I'm here. I made a great switch in my career. I switched to IT and to QA in particular, and I really fell in love with this profession. I like this field. I like how many types of different kinds of testing are there. And currently I work as an accessibility QA, which I absolutely adore. And yes, I guess that's it for now. We'll talk
Well,
about
for
some of my skills a bit later. Thank you.
yes, exactly. Thank you so much for the introduction. And everyone who joined and who was introduced before this moment, they all work at DevExperts. But today we have two special guests from other companies. And the first one is Aline Sauser. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and the company you work in.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Aline Souza. I'm from Brazil. I'm a senior QA engineer with background in computer science, and I have 8 years of experience, work with both manual and automated tests. And during my journey, I have a huge experience in different projects and platforms. And today, as Maria mentioned, I was invited by DevExperted, but also from Paulo and Alan to representing the Test Tribe Porto, a QA community here in Porto. So it's a pleasure to be here with such amazing women in technology. And I would also like to say thank you so much for creating this space. It's so important to our community. And also thank you for this partnership. It's very important to us.
Thank you very much for introducing yourself and for introducing the company and the community. I am really excited to work with people who are willing to share with the community, and I can't hide it. There are so many hearts and so many good words supporting you, Aline, in the chat, and I am glad that we have that part of the audience that supports you, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to engage with those people in the conversation during our webinar. So and last but not least, also not the first time guest at dxTechTalk initiative, well, she's going to introduce herself. Elena, the stage is yours.
Hello, and thank you for the invitation. I'm joining from Poland, so in this way, extending the geography of the people participating today. And I work in the quality assurance for a bit more than 15 years, mostly focused on automation. And I've mostly worked in the startup environment where the quality assurance is not just about testing, but also about influencing the whole engineering culture and helping people drive towards the continuous continuous delivery, which is my personally beloved goal for the company. In my free time, I also authored the open source test framework, which is called Shorty, which is designed to work pretty well on the contract testing and the branch testing, and can boost you in switching from end-to-end tasks towards the lower levels of the task pyramids. And also I write some articles on my personal blog, which is QA Explains, around sharing my experience and how to succeed with the automation if you want to in the quality assurance. And privately, I'm a mom of a toddler in his best age, almost 3, living and still in Poland. And most of my free time, I enjoy just playing with my kid.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to ask the question that people on American TV used to ask. Do you know where your kid is? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he's
okay.
with his grandmom. So no worries.
Oh, thank God. Because usually, like the toddler, especially during daytime, you always have to like, oh my God, where are you? Every time you can't find them, it is always a little heart attack, and I'm glad that you know where the kid is. And the first, actually, while you were talking, I remembered so many comments. And the first one is, guys, we are going to include all the information about the initiatives, about the articles, about people who are talking right now in our follow-up newsletter. So stay tuned. You're not going to lose any information. You don't have to write it down. you're going to get all the contacts in the newsletter. So in case you want to explore the works of our panelists a little bit more, you will be able to do that. And just a little note, every time each of you says, I have 10 years of experience, 15 years of experience, like, how do you manage to look so good? Dudes, come on. You don't look like people who have 15 plus years of experience. But jokes aside, thank you very much for the introduction. And I think we're going to start the panel itself, and we're going to start with something that we all have in common, except for being wonderful, pretty ladies, of course. It's about the QA as a profession, because I am not an engineer, and I have always been interested in different IT not specialities, but in different branches of IT. And from what I understood, QA is usually considered the gateway specialty when you want to enter the IT as an industry. Am I thinking in the right way, or is it not as simple? What do you guys think? Laura, maybe you want to start?
So I think like our field, can be as we were speaking before, right? Can be overrated multiple times, right? And sometimes people do choose QA as like entrance, because like from the get go, you don't need like to know how to code. This of course, as we talked, if you're going to a manual, for instance, test case, to test it. So like people usually use that, but it's such a high complex field that you not only need technical knowledge, but you also need a lot of soft skills, right? As I think it was Nita also who said that we are kind of a glue, right, to developers, to business. So it's like such a rich field, and it's like, in my opinion, at least, it needs a specific profile, and you need to have like even more skills sometimes than other fields, because you need to understand a bit of everything, because you need to ensure the quality. So how you will ensure the quality if you don't know the whole thing, right? So yeah, I will let Elena is with her hand, and I really like what she has to say as well.
Elena, before you start, guys, actually, while we're discussing this, I would like to find out a little bit more about you. Please write in the comments if you already work in QA, if you aspire to be in QA, or if you had experience of working in QA and after that you transitioned to some other field. I'm really interested to know about you. Okay, Elena, please continue.
So that's correct, that the quality is seen as the gateway, as the final gateway between the team and the customer. However, the quality assurance has a lot behind. The whole thing is about assuring the quality, not just stating if the quality is there. And that has to do so much with the culture, with the normalized processes, with the overall discipline, with the confidence of the team in what they are doing, which in the end results in the better quality software for the customer.
Yeah, a very interesting point of view. Let's see what Nita thinks.
I wanted to share actually my story. So I started my journey as a web developer, and then I later discovered this accessibility field. And I wanted to see the product or the project from the user perspective, because accessibility field is something which is not common to everyone. Okay, there are different type of needs. The user with different abilities, they use software, everything in a different way. They use different type of software, and they have different challenges. So I wanted to see the world from the QA side, and where I will have the exposure to all the teams, like the business, then the designers, the developer, and where I can, write the everything, the definition of accessibility, then what my product need, what the people need, everything from the start. So that's why I switched to QA.
Mm-hmm. Actually, while you were talking, I saw a comment in the comment section that there are many people interested in the topic while being the developers. For example, Daniel Jr., our colleague and our loyal viewer, hello. This is actually the guy who brings his whole family to the live events. I love him. Thank you very much for being you. And he actually repeated what you just said. He is a developer, and I'm pretty sure he is not in QA right now, but he's interested in the topic, and it comes naturally while you're working on something, especially in on the product. And I see Laura has something to follow up with.
Yeah, I think this is like amazing example, right? Because sometimes, and like for me, like I'm not a judge of anything like that, but I saw like in my years of working in this, like sometimes you see developers who have, like a profile of a QA, like has a soul, of a QA. And for me, those are the best developers, because they not only care about how the code looks like, they care about everything, right? And I'm not saying that the others don't, but sometimes you do see like in others, not just developers, but in other fields as well, people who only cared about the little box, right? So I'm guaranteeing this and I'm doing my job. But for us in QA, we don't have this option because we need to know everything, and we need to communicate with everybody. And sometimes you do see people in other teams that have this, naturally, and you sometimes you just want to get them like, please come to my team, we need you, but we also need you there. So like, please influence others. So
Well,
please, guys, everybody who is a developer and it's like this, please influence your everybody that you work with. And thank you.
Internal headhunting based on the vibe is very important. And actually, while you were talking about the vibe, it's good, Ina, that you raise your hand, because I've been thinking about you, because you are also the accessibility enthusiast, and I know that you care a lot about not only your profession but also about its impact on the outer world. So please go ahead. I am excited to hear your thoughts.
Yes, well, generally, I was going to say that I really don't like when people see QA only as an entrance to IT, because there are so many interesting things to learn there, and you can develop in any any direction. Whether you are a more technical person, you can choose the direction, for example, of automation testing. And if you are more like non-technical, then you can choose manual. There are different types of testing, so you can find yourself in it. And yeah, speaking of accessibility testing, it was quite a new field that I discovered for myself around 3 years ago. And yeah, I just made a course just to get to know what kind of testing type it is. And it really gained my heart. Like, it was so interesting. You learned how different people with many kinds of disabilities actually use the websites, the mobile applications, and so on. And it was so interesting for me. How can I, from my perspective, test those products so that they could be accessible for everyone, for different kinds of disabled people. And so I mean that you can always find yourself in different kinds of testing. It's not just like underrated QA that it's on the entrance level. Yeah, thank you.
I agree. And since we're talking about the soul of QA and having a specific mindset for QA, I've been thinking that right now, while you were talking about it, that QA as a profession requires a lot of empathy and emotional intellect because you have to act from the point of view of the users. But it's not only this that guides you. For example, Aline, I know that you came to QA with a specific scientific background and you are doing research in a way. Do you have anything to comment on the topic right now about the which people work in QA? And how do they come to this?
Yeah, from my experience, I choose work with quality and assurance. So I had this background. I had the opportunity inside the university to experience a different way. I work as a developer. I had a position in initiative with the as we call in Brazil, Empresa Junior. So it's a company that training the students before leave of the college. So this opportunity give me this background to choose the quality as my profession after I leave the university. So for me, it's very important. As today, it's shared that maybe a background in code automation, it's not mandatory to begin in the area, but for me, it's very important because help me how I can communicate with different area in the project. I have personalized and custom my conversation with the dev team, in the business team and the UX team. So this way I can share the goals in the quality process. So it's very important. And also bring us more background to explore the application for different views.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm really glad that you touched upon this as well. So I've been thinking only about the outbound communication, and you brought this question of inbound because, of course, quality assurance cannot exist without a product. Like, come on, what are we testing? On the other hand, quality assurance is the little bridge between the users and the development, because the developers and those who design the products, they have their own struggles and they have their own problems and goals to achieve. And yeah, maybe not the gateway, but the bridge. Actually, Ina, go ahead, please.
No, you can finish. I can wait.
No, I wanted to go and read the comments. So if it is
Okay.
like connected, please go ahead.
Great. I was just going to highlight what you said, that we are the bridge basically between the development and the client. So we basically are those who test not only that the product is built according to the requirements that the business has given us, but also the usability of the product. How can different kinds of users use this product, like from different users' perspective? That is very important in our profession. So thank you for highlighting that.
Yeah, thank you very much for highlighting that. And actually, I am really, really glad to see a lot of comments about the thing that we're discussing right now. Well, first of all, I asked about how many people are already in QA and how many people are interested. So there is a bunch of people who came just to find out about QA and they're not actually working in it. Some of the people are aspiring to get in. Some of them just interested because they are involved in the IT involved in the IT industry and they're working on it. And we have a special message from the deputy head of QA at DevExperts and our beloved speaker at dxTechTalk, Dima Gorbunov. Dima, hello. I would like to read it out loud, to be honest. Here he describes his way of becoming a QA. Before that, he told that yes, QA is the gateway. You know what? You know the phrase. I'm not allowed to say this on YouTube. Anyway. Dima writes, I was working as a junior developer in my uni and some part-time projects before my QA career. I always thought that technology is technology. QA is not even a job title if you think about it. Well, this is something that we've discussed already. It's the state of mind. It's something that requires a lot of skill, a lot of empathy, and a lot of communication. So I am really glad that we are. No, it's not me. Says Dmitry Grbanov. Okay, I believe you, Laura. Please go ahead.
No, I just want to comment for those that are that came here that are interested or want to learn more about QA. One of the things that I love most about QA is that it helps you in your life, like in general. At least for me, it's like I changed it completely after like some years of experience in the field. Like I use QA mindset in my personal life all the time to plan stuff, you know, like every time I'm thinking like, how can this go wrong and how can I avoid it before it goes wrong, right? And so if you need help in your personal life to organize yourself, be a QA. And another thing is that it's one of the most, how can I say, rich fields in IT, because like, and I can say by experience that like I always worked with QA and I always worked specifically with automation.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, I like never repeated, but like in any company that I changed it, and I didn't change a lot. And sometimes even in the same company, like I've been like multiple different, you know, roles inside this niche, you know, so we can do like hundreds of different things. All right. And it's never predictable. So you feel like, you know, dynamic, you know, and change and like possibility to change all the time. Because for instance, if you are a developer, uh, not every developer, but most likely you will be more experienced or an expert in a specific language, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a QA, you can work with like hundreds of different, you know, technologies because you need to, you know, assurance the quality for a company or for like, you know, ecosystem. And sometimes this ecosystem, each piece, it has different technology, different ways of working, and you need to understand all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you like this kind of, you know, have always something new to do, something different to do, and, you know, be in contact with multiple different, you know, languages and functionalities, and as part of your job, as your, you know, as a necessity, QA, it's made for you. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Aline, please go ahead. I feel the conversation is brewing. Oh my God, it is going to be so cool. Aline, go ahead.
I like so much the point that Laura mentioned because I share the same passion about quality. What motivates me every day is the opportunity to look the application for another side, another view, and apply different techniques, methods, and think about how we can apply the theory in our project. Think about the different way of test strategy and quality strategy, how you can improve this process every day. So this gets so much how we can apply these techniques in the automation, not just look for one layer, but all the architecture in different layer and how we can get different gaps in our application. So this is how I'm being motivated every day to work, not just one way.
Awesome. And Nita, you have something to add as well, right?
Yeah, I just love how Laura said that, you know, you're QA. So once a QA is always a QA. So whenever I go somewhere, you know, as an accessibility expert, whenever I go to any public place, I look for some issues. You know, this is not accessible. They should have a ramp. There are only steps, even in the physical world. And when I'm accessing, you know, any website I'm using, even a social media, I always feel that, oh, this image is not having all text, you know, all those issues. So once you're QA, you're always a QA. So you cannot leave once you learn all the qualities, concept, and everything. Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to highlight that.
Oh my God. Once a QA, always a QA, I think. I
One way
think this
path,
could be, yeah.
no turning back.
Yeah. I think it could be like the second like title of our conversation today. And actually it's very good that you practically are queuing into our next topic, which is leadership, because QA requires the combination of technical knowledge and empathy. And as far as I know, the leadership, not only in QA, but in general, requires a little bit, not a little bit, like probably the same skill set, especially if you're working in IT. Elena, do you agree with this statement? And can you please tell us a little bit about your experience in leadership?
And both agree and disagree on the leadership being just similar to the KA. And when I just started my career, I believe that just being right what you're doing is enough for people to follow, but that's not true. Apparently, you have to, as a leader, you have to influence. You have to make people believe, not only be right, but make people believe that what you're doing is right and correct. And it also, especially in the quality assurance, it also, I would say, that should be kind of influencing without the authority, because quality is not something that you can force people to do, push it from the top. And because of it requiring so much input from everyone on every step, you cannot just do it without leading the whole effort. That's challenging, interesting, and but also rewarding when you see how it changes the way the team operates. So I normally read the quality QA engineers as the first customers of anything that we are producing, not necessarily the whole application, but also every single piece that is being used. And if the QA engineer is experiencing any issues with accessing, interacting, using the software, the real users will highly likely to experience that as well. And having this voice and actually being able to hear it and understand changes so much in the way that team starts interacting, because that change, that shift in the mindset, it also influences the way they communicate with each other and interact.
And was it hard to implement this approach? Like, I know that people are naturally resistant to change, and was it hard to make people understand your approach?
That is hard as rock, I would say. And for a while, I used to look for companies that have already landed up in a situation where they see quality gap being a huge issue. They see that they need someone to fix the final quality and make the product actually, being usable and being something that the customers will be happy with. And that was an easy path, because then they would just naturally listen what you say and following. And then apparently I joined a company that stated that they had this, but it turned out that they're not ready to just silently follow what you say. And where any of the decisions that you make are questions, and you have to prove first that's something working, that's something valuable. Also, I can say that in this environment, while people are naturally growing, this attitude inside and the discipline, it is more solid in the end. Because that's the way once QA, every time QA, once they accept it and once they go through and make it their own decision, it works better for them because they are solidly follow this pattern in the future.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, while you were talking before, you said once a QA, always a QA. I was thinking, like, even the approach that you are describing really looks like testing the hypothesis. Like you see the reaction, and then you make like an assumption. Okay, this should be like this should be like that. Okay, well, yeah, leadership is not an easy thing when you have to either build a new culture within the team, or like implement a new approach. It is true, and yeah, it is one thing that leaders need to overcome and approach as a QA, I guess, as our unspoken motto of the panel goes. Laura, please go ahead.
Just to highlight something that for me it's like really crucial of what Elena said, it's about the ability of negotiation, right? Because this is almost, like a basic for a QA, not just leader, but for everybody working in QA, because we know like how it usually works, right? The inside the company, right? The first crucial priority, dev, second, QA. And we as QAs probably don't agree with that, and because um, sometimes I saw some companies that don't even have QA teams, right? Or don't even think about this, don't even put any effort about stopping and planning something to test their products. And we always feel like we are trying to save people from themselves, right? Because I'm trying to help you. Let me help you, and we need to sell this like, it's important. Please, give us, time, money to do this for you, because it will help you in the end as well, right? And it's a bit frustrating sometimes, but fun as well.
Okay, Elena, please go ahead.
Yeah, that's so true on the let me help you. I just wanted to share on the continuous delivery topic, which is I'm usually advocating for. And for that, the essential part is the shift lab approach and the involvement of the quality assurance engineers on the very early stage. So my private projects, I'm following the same path, and I have the sufficient coverage, I have the tests, and I have the absolutely automated pipelines publishing the new releases. And once it's there, I cannot imagine myself working in a different environment as a developer. When I change a thing, I love so much the result that is what you have to care about is just changing the codes. You don't need to care about the regression. You don't need to even care about pressing the button. It just goes automatically. And then when you see someone using that, you'll be like, that's so cool. Why don't you want me to help you do this? So that's the kind of what that they're missing, but they don't know. And until you experience the same, you never know how much easier and comfortable is like a different level of coding once you have that.
And yeah, this is such a good like thing to see, seeing the result. Well, it's always so satisfying when you were walking around and saying, let me help you, let me help you, let me help you. And people were like, and then they finally say yes. And you see that it's working. And you're like, I was right. I was right. And it really makes you happy. And I know that some things, we know that the IT products, they require like some basic functionality. They need to be compliant to different things, but some of them are optional. And I know that negotiating the optional but necessary functionality, for example, the accessibility, can be really tough. So yeah, I expected Nita to raise her hand, and I would like to give the floor to her as a leader and as a evangelist of the idea that all the software should be accessible. How do you negotiate this with the leadership, like with the company leadership and the owners of the businesses?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with both of them that the negotiation skill is really important in your QA journey, especially in accessibility. Accessibility is always seen as an afterthought. Okay, let's build our product, let's have everything on place, and then we will think about accessibility if we have time, or maybe if the client is serious about accessibility. So this is something which I try to convince the business this is not the right way. It's like, you have built your house, the beautiful house, and in the kitchen you forget to have some plug, okay? And later you think, okay, after, if I need it, I will have the plug. So imagine how much work you have to do after everything is done. So it's same, if you are not taking accessibility into consideration from the first phase of your development, then it will cost you so much. It will cost you money, it will cost you time, and even the frustration of the developer, the designer, everyone to work again on everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I really, you know what I specifically love about the QA people, since it's practically the manifestation of why I love QA people and why you should be one. It's how you approach the illustration and the depiction of your thoughts. It's always practical situation anyone can imagine. And it's really cool. And yeah, both like QA mindset and the leadership, they require like they require case studies, and the easiest way to find inspiration is in real life. And I would like to ask Ina about I know that you're also the ambassador of the accessibility, and I wonder how would you comment on this practical application of QA as a profession?
Yes, well, first of all, communication is crucial in our profession, as we all know, because when we write defect reports for the developers, we have to make them clear and understandable for everyone, for every level of knowledge of the developer, so that they can easily read it and fix it, and less question arise. And on the other hand, accessibility, which we also is not as widely known as, for example, QA, like functional QAs, we have to explain why do we need it. So we oftentimes need examples, like lifetime examples, how this user will use this, why it is important for example, screen reader to read this or that, how will the user know that the button is there, for example, or what does that button do. So we always have to apply the real examples of using the real devices and the applications. And yes, the communication in this case and trying to make it as simple as we can is crucial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good that you told about it. It's not only about communication downwards, but also upwards. Practically, QA is again building a bridge between many levels of the internal audience, like developers and business, and the outbound audience, like clients and development and the product. So yeah, practically we see that QA is about communication mostly, but yeah, there's one more thing that I wanted to discuss is about the hardships of the leadership, not only in QA but in general. And Alina, I would like to listen to hear your point of view. Like, what was the hardest thing for you as a leader when you had to apply? Maybe it was change, maybe it was an idea, maybe it was something else. Please go ahead.
I think for me, the hard thing is show the people in the team that I'm there to help the team to grow in the best skill that they have. Because leadership is not to be the control about everything, but motivate the team to explore your best skills and grow up as a team to achieve the goals that we need in the project. Also, the communicate is a key that we share as important in our area, and they will help us to be empathic with the people in our team, and every person in the team have their own personality. So as a leader, I think one of my goals is explore this or share the information of the way the people understand like so clearly and horizontally, because the people, it's different and it's the challenge, but it's the key of our project, because everyone is very important. We, of course, we are always working in achieve the goals of the company and the project, but if I understand each one and have this on my mind, I think we can building together a quality strategy or building a new idea, a new plan. So for me, it's harder to understand the people, but it's the key of the process to turn quality a culture in a safe place to improve.
Yeah, I really like that answer. And Laura, I guess you have a follow-up thought on that.
I just want to say that's like I'm amazed at how like people like think alike and don't know about this, because I was thinking about this question, right? And my answer was exactly the same as Aline's. I'm shocked now because it's like the exact same. I even wrote in my notes here that it was about, sometimes something is obvious to you, but for other people, it's just the opposite. It's not obvious. It's the complete opposite. And for me, the hardest thing to learn it was like that, like the cultural differences that right now also like in the VEX we have a lot, right? And in my past, like other companies, I have this as well. I always worked with a multiple countries and nationalities. So this is like really important, to deal with, because we need to negotiate, right? As we said already, and we need to convince people of the importance of what we're doing sometimes. But people sometimes think differently and speak differently than you, and you need to understand that as well. So it's like 100% agree with Aline.
Yeah. Again, communication, empathy, and true interest to all the elements of the system, be it the functionality or people building this functionality. Yes, it is very important. And I think my doubts went away like after 10 minutes of our initial conversation. Like we're just vibing together. I am enjoying every step of the way right now of the conversation, and I really hope that people feel the same way too. And actually, there are a couple of technical things that I would like to highlight. Maybe like, guys, you have 30 seconds to sip sip some water. I am going to talk to our audience a little bit. First of all, guys, we understand that this is a new format and we are already a little bit carried away, but the initial time frame that we planned for this conversation is 1.5 hours. So if you feel like it's getting a little bit overwhelming, or if you feel that you are not ready to sit through the whole conversation, it is going to be available right after the end of the streaming. It is going to be available here on YouTube via the same link. So don't worry if you miss anything. Right now, you can always come back to the bits that you liked. Yes, and also we will provide everyone with the link in the follow-up. And even if you decide to leave right now, don't forget that you're missing the opportunity to ask your questions, which we're going to refer to right now in a second. And before you leave, I feel very sad to see the only like under this video, and I know it's mine, guys. Please do something about it. I know I'm not begging, but I'm just expressing my opinion. Psychologists say that you shouldn't blame people. You should start your frustrations with the I message. So, guys, I am very sad that the only like under this video is my own. So please, yeah, I really hope that you hear me. Okay, that was a little technical pause. I hope everyone is ready to get back to the conversation. Guys, is everything all right? Are we happy? Are we going to get back? Okay, cool. So we have a couple of questions from the audience. And the first one is from Freik GG. I really hope that I pronounced it correctly. And yeah, QA, being a human, being an empath. Let's talk about AI. And Craig asks, what are your thoughts on the rapid development of AI? Does it pose a threat to the QA profession? Guys, do you have any thoughts on that?
Multiple.
Elena, please go ahead.
We are there in the same boats, facing the AI, and I wouldn't see it as a threat, obviously, as the AI helps us produce more codes, which means actually more work for the QA. And personally, what I'm trying to embed the AI in the quality assurance processes. I so far don't see how it can replace this, rather the instrument that can speed up the developments can be used as a tool. At the same time, when it comes to the test automation, we have to have in mind, to keep in mind all the time that it's just the large language models that are behind, meaning that a lot of code has been read, analyzed, combined into the way that it can allow us to produce the code. And that fact, when you start realizing that, you can understand that it was likely not produce the production-ready system. It's definitely not, haven't learned on the code that U-bots identify as the perfectly written instruction. It's just the average code that you find on the network, on the internet. And when it comes to the tests, you can see how many of the tests we have there. Normally, it's something that is skipped, deprioritized, used as another firefighting instrument rather than something that was initially planned, was initially embedded into the whole infrastructure and then into the whole architecture of the system. So it was designed for the testability. And because of that, at this point of time, we are struggling actually to produce the good, absolutely generated with the AI, the automated tests and automated. And even if we are succeeding in generating at least something, maintenance of the code together with the tests has a tendency to make the changes in the tests if they're failing, not in the codes. So the AI rather doesn't see it as the regression issue or the test issue that they have to fix. That said, QA would have even more work with the development of AI rather than less.
Okay. Well, I can understand why it happens. And that's the thing. AI needs to be checked by people. And isn't it like ironic that the thing, not the thing, like the technology that is supposed to have quality assurance requires its own quality assurance? That's very ironic. Although
One, sorry, but I want to jump in there saying that
Please.
all the things that they do, the quality assurance, it requires quality assurance. We need someone to actually watch the watchman, and we need to test the tests that we are creating, continuously evaluate and see if they're still working, if they're still relevant, if they're still detecting the issues, or we already have, the pesticide effects spread across the application, and if things just missed. It's not that a new thing. And it actually requires the quality assurance. But in case of AI, it's a bit more dependent.
So there's a doll inside a doll inside a doll inside a doll. Yeah. Yeah, a very nice cultural references. Hello to everyone who understood the reference. Okay, Nita, please go ahead. Your thoughts on AI in QA.
Yeah, so we cannot deny the fact that yes, AI is there and it can help us, but I think it has certain limitations, at least in accessibility field. In accessibility, you need that empathy, you need that human emotions to understand what problems people are facing, how you can solve those problems. And I think right now the AI can't think like a human. Like they still have the limitation in accessibility. We follow some guidelines. In guidelines, there are some pass and fail, okay, cases where you can simply say pass and fail. But there are some cases where you need to think, you need to trust your gut feeling, and you need to decide whether something is right or wrong. You need to convince your team. You together with your team, with your project, everyone, you need to decide whether some feature you can provide to user or not. So just to give you an example, suppose you have an image, like your image, you are here, and if I ask AI to generate the caption for it, okay, the alt text for it, maybe if the AI don't have a context, he will just say the girl sitting, smiling, okay, wearing headphone. But we still need a human intervention, to decide whether the girl, what she's doing. You are conducting, you are host for this dxTechTalk today. So this information, I still feel the AI can't do it. It's my opinion.
Yeah, Laura, please continue.
I 100% agree. I actually had some heated conversations about this, like in my personal life with friends and all stuff. But I do have a strong opinion that there's no such a thing, and it will never have such a thing as AI replacing anybody, right? If you are replace it, it's because you are just doing the minimal, right? As remember we talked in the beginning, like sometimes people just think it's just like think like a small box or like in just one context. And AI, of course, it has memory, it has everything, but it's algorithm, right? It will follow instructions. So it doesn't have empathy. It doesn't have, feelings and emotions. And we already established that this is important, right, for QA and not only QA. So it's simply not possible, right? AI for me, it's amazing. I love it because it helps me to not waste time doing things that are robotic, right? That I don't need to use my brain to do it, right? I just do it because I need to do. So AI now, it's, it can do it for me. And so I have more time to apply in other places where like I need, to use human brain to it. And so like it will always have something that you can do. Like you can use AI in your advantage. That's my point. And if you're going to be replaced by it, you should, think twice about the way you're working because it shouldn't, So it should only help, be a partner. That's it.
Yeah, we create tools to get some free time to do some serious weightlifting, mentally and physically. Like, for example, like people who delegate some work stuff to AI can like increase their physical activity, go for a run. The weather is getting wonderful, guys. So yeah, AI is our friend, not the substitute for our
It's like a washing
abilities.
machine, right? Like instead of like washing the dishes, you can just put it inside a machine and go do something else. It's the same idea.
Oh my God, my grandpa would so disagree with you because, like, okay, a little off topic. I'm terribly sorry, dear audience. You'll have to listen to this cool story. When my parents came to my grandparents' village, and they said, like, let's buy a washing machine. It is going to be so easy for grandma. Attention, grandma used to wash everything by hand back then. And what did my grandpa say? why does she need so much free time if this happens? Like, I don't understand. Why would we buy such an expensive machine? What would she do the rest of the day? Watch TV? So, yeah,
This is what we expect from men.
wait a second. We will have some time to talk about this. Elena, you had something to say about the use of AI as well. Sorry.
Yeah,
terribly sorry.
that might sound a bit too sweet, and here because we just agree with each other. No, no arguments here, no discussions. But I also agree so much that AI can enable us to be smarter in what we are doing. Actually, use our brain instead of spending time on the routine actions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and actually we have another question about AI, and I would like to address this to Ina. Polina Mikhailova is asking about the AI tools as well, but she's asking about the practical application. Like, as a QA specialist, do you implement AI in your daily work? And do you use it to create test cases, create automations, SATA? I'm terribly sorry if I'm reading it wrong. Do you use agents as a whole? Like, what is your experience in using AI at work?
Well, in accessibility field, we don't use AI tools that much, but yes, of course, we do use, for example, ChatGPT as a friend. I would say as something that supports us. For example, when you are not like we're comparing our products to WCAG, which is the standard that we have, and in this case, for example, if you are not exactly sure which standard is violated in this case, so you can use ChatGPT to define the exact one to use afterwards in your defect report or test case even, or so. Yes, but in accessibility field, it's a bit different because it's more human-centered field, and you have to bring a piece of yourself, bring a piece of human being into your test cases, for example, so you can't rely on the AI field in this case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the something that I can relate to. Thank you very much for like telling about this, Polina. I really hope that you got an answer to your question and maybe even more, because I from every answer and from every comment, I'm getting a little bit of an insight, not only on the technology, but also on the like how the world works in general. And with this, actually, I would like to move to the last part of our conversation. It's about being a woman in the male-dominated industry, and I am very excited about that part. We've already started with the cold story from my grandpa, but before that, I would like to read out the comment. I don't know if it's to Aline, but Fabio Barbosa 5471 wrote, "Alan, vamos tomar café." Is this addressed to you?
Probably for Alan that represent the test tribe. So it's amazing guy. So schedule the coffee with them.
Okay, so Alan, I really hope that you got the message and you're going to drink coffee with amazing Fabio Barbosa 5471. Thank you very much. So wrapping up the coffee invitations, like I know that we are all here also to celebrate the International Women's Day. And from the culture where I am from, the International Women's Day has lost half of its meaning, unfortunately. Usually, when people celebrate the 8th of March, they celebrate femininity, they celebrate the spring, they celebrate the beauty. But when I moved to Europe, I understood that this holiday, it's not even a holiday, it's a day to commemorate the fight of women for equal rights. So, and I really like that in the European culture, the meaning of the holiday remains the same. And it can be also applicable to real life, meaning the professional life. Right now, we're working in a male-dominated industry, and IT is the place where engineers live, and engineers statistically are mostly men, although some people can look around and see that there are many wonderful, bright women. Actually, when I was preparing for this podcast, I found a very interesting information that before a certain point, programming was mostly a female profession because it was considered monotonous and boring. And by the time things became interesting, you know what? Men came to like eat all the honey, leaving us the bees. Okay, I would like to start with, well, since we've already started the conversation with Aline, can you please share your perspective on what it feels like to be a woman in the male-dominated industry as a whole?
Sure. For me, it's an interesting question because when you touch in this topic, bring for me a memory. From I will complete this year 10 years in the area and 8 in quality. And when I share with my parents that I choose computer and science as a course in the university, I share with them too the percentage of women in the area. And it was very interesting because the opposite that we can imagine, they motivated me to continue in this career, to continue open this space. And his message was, okay, no worries about this. We are here when you need, and we can be one more woman in the area and open space for another women's. So I'm the younger daughter. I have 2 older brothers. So this speech was very strong to me. They enforced me to speak and create my self-confidence to be on this area. Of course, during my journey in the university and outside there, I found amazing women in technology that inspired me. But my first inspiration started at home. My mom is a leader too. So they share with me this strong to be deeply in desire and do my best. So the result of this, I was the first woman to complete the science computer course in my hometown. And I'm not share with so much happiness because it's good because I opened this space, but sad. I love to see more women in this area. I have a group besides the university because when I count the years of the graduation, I count to and I found into some friends. So it's like one woman per class. So it's very stranger in the moment, but we see this as an opportunity to create in our internal community in this area. Most men dominated. So until today, they are my support group in this area. All 5 completed the graduation in IT area, and today we share our challenge. So this is our support too. So for me, it's very important. The IT area, different that, as mentioned, for me, it's a universe, interesting universe that I can grow up as a professional, but as a person too. So every day I discovered something. AI, it's there to prove this one. Every day it's found new things to explore and be better and work on this. So yes, IT, it's my passion until today after 10 years of this day. And I'm very grateful for my background and my network. So it's not easy facing the challenge every day, but the being this support network, it helped me a lot every day.
And also, well, first of all, this speech is so inspiring and so heartfelt. Thank you very much for sharing. And Actually, people are supporting in the comments, saying Aline, você é especial, and yeah, people are supporting you with hearts and with hand claps. Everything is so touching, everything that you've said. And the one thing that I'm bringing out of this conversation, especially, well, not only one thing, like there is passion and there are people who support you. This is very important. Like,
Yeah.
and I guess for not for every woman, but for every person in the world, it is important to have both. Sometimes it seems like you don't have one or both, but I'm pretty sure that the world is kinder than we sometimes tend to think. And I'm really glad to hear such positive stories like yours. Alina, you would like to continue your thought?
Just a highlight because, as you mentioned, my passion and my support network, it's not my vulnerability. The opposite, they are my force. They help me to continue this way and try to inspire another women to be part of this environment that it's, as we can see here in this room, that's amazing women in technology.
Thank you so, so much. Nita, please continue.
Yeah, while listening, Aline's story, I just thought, to share my story. So my story come from the male-dominated society. So I'm from a family of four sisters, and with no brother. So it start from the very beginning. So my parents, they were so supportive, and they never restricted us, to choose career or the education. In electronic engineer was the second computer engineer from our village. So this male dominated society, it's really start from your home. So and in as you grow, as you grow in the industry, in the technical industry also, you learn how to be confident. First you feel nervousness, you feel each and every beat of your heart when you are surrounded with so many male. But gradually, over time, with experience, you learn how to survive in this industry, in this society, which we call the male dominated. Yeah, that's about me. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, yeah, culture is super bound to everything that happens to you, both professionally and personally. So yes, our background means a lot, and it's good that we're uh finding not strength, because sometimes it's I tend to say it's not that bad as it seems. We find courage to go and do what we actually want and to achieve what we actually want. This is very important. Laura, please go ahead.
I just want to also, complement what the girls are saying. 100% agree and glad to see your stories as well. And my thought is like how to summarize something. It's like for me, everything's diversity, right? We need representation, right? And sometimes as a woman, it feels lonely because we don't see representation, right? So now it's great that we, like walk it like miles. We are much better now. But for me, myself as well, like I graduated and did masters in computer science. And like in my class, 60 people, there were 5 women, including me, right? And it was like a major capital in Brazil. So it's very little, right? And sometimes we reach, to inspiration, leaders, right? And sometimes we don't see it, right? And this is very difficult and lonely. And it's very important, not only for women, but all, minorities need the representation everywhere, right? To inspire us and to give us strength to like carry on and see like you can do it. There are other people who do it as well, right? And sometimes we are judged in the environment for being a woman, but not, but as people have biases and it's normal, right? You sometimes you don't put yourself in the position of others, because simply for you, it's not even a thought because you never experienced that, and it's normal. So it's really important for the companies and leaders, to be aware of that and to try, to, how can I say, extinguish their biases as much as they can, to help everybody, to put herself or themselves in others places, in minorities places as women, right? And so, recheck that, right? This is very crucial because it can be lonely. And even if you are a male, you can help by just, be informed and go after and see like what women, sometimes suffer or just happens, are treated differently and why, and try to help, as a leader as well. So, yeah.
Yes. Loneliness is a big part of this journey, and as it has already been repeated a lot, the passion and the support of other people is important. And I'm really glad that you added the factor of leadership, because when you're a leader, you need to understand that people like you might have the same struggles as you, and different people different from you might have different struggles, and your task first and foremost to identify and understand them. This is a very powerful message. Thank you so much. Elena, please go ahead.
Yeah, I also wanted to add that support is very important, and that's what's missing in general in the industry, and we would rather see kind of the motivation from the outside. Every time you try to succeed, you try to build something, and I've experienced this so many times, especially when bringing some ideas on the table, when trying to build something that is innovative, that's different from what other people are doing and seeing as the good thing. You see so many comments demotivating you, saying that you will fail, that no one succeeded in that before you. That's not the right path to take. But what is really surprising in the end, once you succeed, all of those people will gonna support you in the end. They will say that they have believed in you during the whole journey, and that they will compliment on the every step. But the time that you needed them, they were not there.
And even sometimes say that, oh, you like excelled because I helped you,
Even so, yeah.
That's another story, like appropriation of your victories and successes. It exists really, but you reminded me of something also not related to QA, but I remember about this case a lot. One of my favorite actresses, Kate Winslet, has been told all her childhood that she's going to play funny fat girls until the rest of her life. And when she finally got an Oscar, I think she got an Oscar or a BAFTA or Tony for the main female lead in a romantic movie or in a serious movie, she stood on the stage and she was like, "Look at me now, my teacher. Look at me now." It was the perfect representation of what you're saying. Like, although the demotivation, especially when you're a woman in an industry where you are not expected much, where you are supposed to do the manual labor and that's it. So you are a supporting. Your role is mostly supporting in the eyes of those people. But when you start struggling, when you start trying to reach the top, of course, there is some cognitive resistance of people saying like, well, I've always believed this. How can it be different? It's not going to be different. But denial is always the first reaction. But then when people see that you're growing stronger and stronger and getting further and further, they change their mind themselves. And I think that our conversation in general leads us to the conclusion that it is important to be an example, an outstanding example that will normalize this attitude towards women. And I would like to ask Ina Kamushvili, like, is it mostly a struggle or an empowering journey to be a woman in the male-dominated industry like QA and IT in general?
Well, I think it's a bit of a struggle in the end, because you are always in a constant proving mode. You're proving that you should be here. You're proving that the place that you took, you deserve it. You always have to be ready with your answers. You have to be one step ahead with the possible questions or doubts others might have to you. But I don't want to scare those who want to step into the IT field, the women that want to do so, because it is worth it. In the end, with all those difficulties, with all those struggles, it is worth it. And when you finally make it to the top, you're proud, double proud of yourself, because you did it. You had all the abilities, and you proved to the world that you can do it. So yes, it is a struggle, but in the end, it is worth struggling.
Oh my God, this is the perfect wrap up. Elena, please go ahead and add what you wanted to say.
I also wanted to add that all of those struggles that Ina mentioned, they are growing you stronger. They are making you a better professional. They are making you grow to the level which is not available for those who don't face all of those circumstances, actually building up the personality and building up the professional you are. And in terms of struggle, I cannot but mention double standards that we have. So if you would ever try to act like a man on the same position, you would just immediately be called the too aggressive, authoritative female leader. But that would absolutely be unexpected.
Mm-hmm. This is a thing for another podcast, I think. This is the topic for our next discussion. Before I'm giving the mic to Laura, we have 3 minutes left, and I am enjoying this conversation so much that I would be happy to make a part 2, but we're limited in time. Those who joined us today, if you have any final comments, you still have a couple of minutes to do that. And don't forget to like this video, share it with those who might find it interesting, and just react on our videos with hearts. I really like seeing the reactions that you're giving us. Thank you so much. And Laura, please, the final conclusion from you.
Very quickly, I just wanted like a small note on top of what Ina said, that it's not only worth it, it's also really important for us to do that, because as we said, we need representation, right? As any minority, you need to, be visible to other people. If you hide yourself, or if you, don't struggle and don't fight to be there, it will never be as equal, right? So for the next generations, we need to struggle a bit, so it will be easier and easier with the years passing, as it is already is. In our experience, it's already gotten easier. So we really need to do this. And also another thing is that sometimes people deny that this exists, and it is important to to believe us it exists. So yeah, just that. Thank you.
Just be that girl who will say, "Look at me now," so people like me would look at you and say, "Yes, I can do it too." Nita, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on top of everybody what they said. So I think the women first started educating themselves, then they started working in the industries, okay, in the technical industries. But somehow we as a society, we failed to make a space for women. Now the women are struggling to manage the home, the household chores, the kids, in-laws, parents, everyone, and they are working 9 to 5 job as well. So it's too much pressure on the women. So I think we as a society should, and maybe our partners, we need to share some responsibility so that the women have their own space where they can grow with the confidence and everything. So I think that's what we can expect, at least from our family, from our partner.
Mm-hmm. Yes, support is important on every level as the representation, since we're raising our voices and actually talking about this. Practically, we are doing the job that we're striving for everyone to do, what we're asking for everyone to do is to talk about, to raise the problems, to talk about solutions, and just to be supportive of each other. I really think that most women in this conversation have been empowered by other women and supported and raised by very brave and very brave and caring personalities, not only because they're women, but also because they're people who strive to make a better world, like the QA engineers. This is how I want to wrap it up, because once a QA, always a QA. And being a QA, it means being empathetic, being caring and supportive and passionate. And being a QA doesn't mean being a woman, but being a woman could mean that you could be a QA. So thank you very much for joining. I enjoyed this immensely. I really hope you liked the new format. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, meetup.com, and Instagram. We're going to post the updates about the upcoming events next time. We would really like to know your opinion about the format. If you have a chance to leave it in the comments over here under this video when it appears, I would really be glad to see if it really is the format that you would like to hear and see. I thank you for your engagement and for the wonderful conversation. I thank each and every speaker who joined today. It has been a pleasure, and see you next time, guys. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.